Away we go. Yep. Thursday edition of the show. Good to have you with us, SportsMap Radio and the SportsMap Radio app. I listen. I'm watching this Thursday night game. You got to really like football to be out there tonight. In Charlotte, your team's got like 2 wins. You've got to really like football to be sitting out in the rain for the Panthers and Falcons tonight. It's just awful. Oy vey. Good to have you with us on the program. Our producer tonight is John Belmer back in Houston, producer engineer extraordinaire. I'm Jason. We are, as of right now, we are actually guest free tonight. I'd like to say it was on purpose, but that wasn't the design of the show. But usually we book one guest a night, to have a guest live in the first hour, doing replay in the third hour. And tonight, we're guest free as of right now. That could change. You never know. We got a bunch of calls out, but tonight was one of those rare nights where everybody said no. Belmer, everybody said no. There's plenty to talk about. You never run out of stuff. It was that. That's exactly what it was. It was Thursday night football. Everybody was like, I'm sorry, I can't do it. I gotta watch the Panthers and the Falcons on Prime Video. Why did you have to bring that up? Why would you go and do that? We just had a conversation off the air about pulling the promo. Can we have that promo? Can you do me a favor? Can we get that promo ready? Because I want to actually play it on the air for those that don't hear it during the breaks. Get that ready. We're coming back. Tell you about the Panthers and the Falcons. Whole lot to talk about tonight and a lot of time to talk about it on SportsMap Radio. Stay with us. Well, they're about to punch it in the end zone. Spoke too soon. Mariota, touchdown! Yeah, there they come. Yeah, well, it's Prime Video. Are you watching on a bootleg feed? Oh, okay. You're watching it on like 28.8K internet. Yeah. So, yeah, very exciting. We've got... Rolling along on this Thursday edition of the show. Hey, if there was ever a night where you wanted to call in, I don't normally take a ton of calls. Tonight, you can talk about anything you want. 1-800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. We will take some calls. All kidding aside, Thursday night football. We'll obviously get into the live betting aspect of that coming up in the next segment. We do our live betting every night on the show, so we'll obviously do it coming up. Get some thoughts on what's going on in this game, which just got a lot more interesting. And you might have heard this snarky remark from Snarky McSnarkums, our producer-engineer, John Belmer, tonight, working on the show, trying to work himself down to the B level on the show, where Brian McDonald's going to become our favorite engineer-producer on the show. And he actually called me out for my prediction that the Atlanta Falcons were going to win the NFC South. Now, at the time he said that, it was 13-3 Carolina in the third quarter. But that just changed moments ago because Marcus Mariota threw a touchdown pass, extra point good, and now Atlanta trails Carolina 13-9. Did they miss the extra point? Oh, jeepity creaky. They missed the extra point? Really? I guess they did. So it's 13-9 Panthers about midway through the third quarter. Now, the reason he made that comment, and I was joking with him before the break, that I was very high on the Falcons. When they were 4-4, I picked them to win the division, said they would win it over Tampa Bay. And now Tampa Bay and them are tied atop the division, but of course Tampa Bay has the tiebreaker as of now because they've only played once. Tampa Bay won that game, the controversial ending, all that. We've talked about it ad nauseum. But I was joking with John that we need to get the promo off the air. Here's a promo that we made with me boasting about how much I love the Atlanta Falcons. Cue it up. Win the NFC South. We are halfway through the season, one game short. They are 4-4 right now. They could easily be 5-3 right now if
I'm getting double audio
late in that game again. And they're losing in Carolina tonight. Oh, boy. 13-10 as they play right now. Again, midway through the 13-9, midway through the third quarter. The conditions are miserable tonight, though. I can't get on them, if the offense isn't its best. I mean, you're trying to throw the football around, you can't really do it. It's tough conditions for both teams. Let me say this too, by the way. He's not going to be a starting quarterback anywhere in this league for any lengthy period of time. Like he's sort of supplanted Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold and all these guys in Carolina. But P.J. Walker's not a bad little quarterback. I know that sounds demeaning to say it that way, but I'm really not. He's one of these guys, and Steve Wilkes, the head coach, the interim head coach for the Panthers, said it at halftime. We just want him to manage the game. And it's not often, quarterbacks don't want to hear their game described that way as being game managers. But he came right out tonight and said, we just want to be game manager. We just want him to be a game manager, and he's doing a good job managing the game. So anyway, we'll do the live betting coming up in the next segment. I didn't mean to go that long on the football game there. I wanted to start with, a lot of people know I'm a big LeBron James fan. I have so much respect for what he has meant to the NBA and what he has accomplished, world championships, 3 different teams as the main star, face of the league for so long. And, those days are sort of numbered. Matter of fact, there was an interesting piece that somebody put out recently about the fact that LeBron really isn't the face of the NBA anymore, and his time in that sort of role is waning. But I still respect him an immense amount for his commitment to being, his physical well-being and how he takes care of himself. And the fact that at his age and 20 years in the league, he can still drive the lane and guys just get out of the way. I mean, it's remarkable. Now, he's having some injury issues and has over the last few years, and things that come with being his age. No matter how well you take care of yourself, these things are going to happen. But I have to be honest when I say I was kind of disappointed with the comments he made regarding Kyrie Irving. And I don't know how many people heard it, but the Lakers star tweeted about about Kyrie Irving's suspension and everything that's surrounding the embattled Brooklyn Nets star. LeBron tweeted the following: "I told you guys that I don't believe in sharing hurtful information, and I'll continue to be that way. But Kyrie apologized, and he should be able to play. That's what I think. It's that simple. Help him learn, but he should be playing." Now, if you don't know, if you've been under a rock for the last couple of weeks, Kyrie Irving was suspended by the Nets, minimum of 5 games after sharing a link to an anti-Semitic film. The movie's available on Amazon. According to multiple reports, he has to complete a 6-step program, essentially, before the Nets will allow him to return. And among those are reportedly both sensitivity training and anti-Semitic training. What he's asked to do to get back on the floor, I think, is excessive, in my opinion, James tweeted. He's not the person that's being portrayed of him. You might recall, James and Irving won a title together, 2016. Kyrie hit a big shot against the Warriors, lone championship in the history of the Cleveland Cavaliers. LeBron finally helped to deliver something that he talked about delivering when he first came to Cleveland to play for the Cavaliers. And Celtics forward Jaylen Brown even recently said the Players Union is expected to appeal the conditions for Irving's return as well. And I have to admit, and maybe I shouldn't be surprised, because look around the NBA and how many Jewish players are there. Look around the league. Now, if a white player had tweeted, let's just reverse the circumstances here. If a white NBA player had tweeted out a book that, I don't know, promoted racist tropes that was in a book or a movie and got suspended and had conditions for his return, do you think guys like Jaylen Brown and LeBron James would be standing up and saying, "Oh, no, they shouldn't do this to him. It's excessive"? You know it wouldn't. And this, to me, is NBA players not being able to relate to people in the world that are Jewish and that are obviously hurt by the promoting of the book and movie that Kyrie Irving put out. By the way, I'm going to agree with something Adam Silver said and something a few people have said. I don't even think Kyrie Irving is anti-Semitic. I think he's ignorant. I think he's ignorant to what his comments and words mean and the weight that they carry. I do think he is, I do find him guilty of that in my mind. But I don't think he's anti-Semitic. I really don't. But that doesn't mean he shouldn't have to undergo some sort of sensitivity training that helps him understand the gravitas of his words and the things he tweets and the things he says and how those can come across. Again, he plays in Brooklyn. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. For people that don't understand, Brooklyn is heavily Jewish. Again, I've lived there. I lived there a total of 10 years. I lived in some of the most Jewish neighborhoods that you've ever seen. Hasidic Jews. I lived in a neighborhood right across the street. I lived in a building right across the street. You ever heard Jay-Z talk about the Marcy projects? I used to live literally across the street. I mean, literally across the street from the Marcy projects. In a building, and it was the only building in the entire neighborhood that wasn't filled with Hasidic Jews. You go outside, you walk around the neighborhood, all the supermarkets, all the stores, the little ice cream shop, they're all owned by Hasidic Jews. Brooklyn is filled with that. So part of this also has to do with the fact that he plays for a team that's rooted in a community that is heavily Jewish. So I don't blame the Nets for forcing him to do this. And if he doesn't want to do it, then they have to decide what kind of action they want to take. And then it gets into a whole ordeal with the Players Association. But the Players Association coming out and essentially saying that this is simply, too harsh, too excessive, it just proves they're out of touch. And it proves that guys that like to portray themselves as progressive and a league that likes to portray itself as progressive really isn't as progressive as you like to think it is. And we probably should have known that based on the fact that they don't give a damn about the fact that they're associated with a league that's in bed with China, that's essentially gone through an ethnic cleansing for a number of years with the Uyghurs, and, have essentially wiped out a segment of the population there, put them in prison camps. Yeah, go look it up. I know, it's not fun. It's not inside your sports bubble. I get it. But, these guys are just being a bunch of hypocrites right now. I don't believe Kyrie Irving is anti-Semitic, Jaylen Brown wrote. I don't think people in our governing bodies think he's anti-Semitic. He made a mistake. We understand from an outside perspective how important sensitivity is to not condone hate speech and not condone anything of that nature. It's sensitivity to the dialect around that. We don't want to stand up for somebody in order to not condemn hate speech, but I don't believe... It's not about whether he's anti-Semitic. It's about whether he actually understands his actions and his words and his comments and his defending of them originally was wrong. That's what it's about. He had 2 chances to apologize. He didn't. He did the exact opposite. And only when he got suspended did he apologize. So is it real? I'm sorry. I don't want to spend too much time on this tonight. But it's got to be said, these players are hypocrites. 1-800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. Are the Nets being unfair to Kyrie Irving? You can weigh in. 800-224-2004. On Twitter, you can hit me up as well. I haven't given that out yet tonight. On Twitter, at the back page, hit me up. Let me know what you think. All right, we'll check in on the Thursday night football game. We'll have complete post-game when it's done as well. Tell you what's going on between the Falcons and the Panthers, some live betting talk as we continue. Good to have you with us on this Thursday edition of the Cash In at SportsMap Radio. Sorry about that. So when it does that, it's going out over the air as double? Oh, okay. Sorry about that. God damn it. All right. I'm sticking with it. Tampa Bay is going to lose this weekend anyway. So they're both going to be 4-6. 4-6 leading the division. It's great. With Carolina 1 game back. Isn't it? 7 wins will win the division. Could. should get Killer Mike on the show tonight. I didn't think of that. In the ATL, man? By the way, hello to our new affiliate. 99.1 FM in Atlanta. Good to have you guys with us. 1-800-224-2004. Is the NBA, or not the NBA, but the Brooklyn Nets, are they coming down too hard now on Kyrie Irving, and do they risk sort of making him a martyr of sorts? 800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. Tweet at the show at the back page. All right, Thursday Night Football, Panthers got another touchdown. They missed their extra point. They're at the end of the third quarter in Charlotte. Carolina 19, Atlanta 9. And John Belmer, our producer engineer extraordinaire, working the show tonight in Houston, asked me a question during the break. Ask it again. Absolutely, I am doubling down. I am sticking to my guns. I will never admit defeat. Never. Nope. Well, here's the thing. They're going to be 4-6 if they lose, which there's still a lot of time in the game. They could win. Well, they're facing a fourth down around midfield right now. They're going to be punting the football away. But here's the thing. Let's say they lose. They're 4-6. Tampa Bay is going to lose in Munich this weekend against Seattle. So they're both going to be 4-6 through 10 games. So I'm not giving up. I am not giving up without a fight. 19-9 Panthers lead the Falcons. Early in the fourth quarter, Carolina has the football, 1st and 10 on their own 28. Let's look at the live betting, shall we? Carolina, oh, geez, the live betting just went off of my screen. Hold on. I'll get it here in a second, and I'll tell you what I'm thinking for a pick on this game. So it's Atlanta plus 10.5 right now on the spread. The live money line is plus 750. That is a good value. You know how Belmer, if you know anything about me, love my value bets. And 38.5 is the total on a game right now where the score is at 28. So here's the reality. If you think Atlanta has any shot of coming back, you're taking the over on that, right? Let's just kind of do this logically. If you think Atlanta has any chance of coming back, you're taking over 38.5. You're also taking the plus 10.5. I would tell you right now, if I were going to place a bet on this, should we lock one in? Belmer? All right, let's lock one in. Plus 10.5 on Atlanta right now. Let's do it. Lock it in. Thank you. Plus 10.5 is the cash-in official live bet for the Falcons and the Panthers. Because the Panthers are going to get conservative. What did you hear Steve Wilkes say about his quarterback, P.J. Walker? Manage the game. And if he's managing the game, they're not going to take a lot of chances up 10 early in the fourth quarter with a chance to steal one. Oh, it just jumped up to 11.5. Oh, my God, I love it even more. As a matter of fact, I would bang it twice. I would take Atlanta. I already said take Atlanta plus 10.5. Let's throw one more in. It's up to 12.5. I didn't even have a chance to bang the last one. Let's take Atlanta plus 12.5. So now we'll have two picks. Thank you. We'll take Atlanta plus 10.5, trailing 19-9. We'll take Atlanta plus 12.5, trailing 19-9. So we've got two picks on this game now. I love it. That's the cash-in live bet of the night. We do it every night on the show, and that's the one I'm sticking with right now. There are some NBA games going on tonight. I probably should take a gander and see if there's anything of interest there as far as the live betting is concerned. Let's see. Actually, no. There aren't. Wow. Everything's done in the NBA already? Is that possible? I guess it is. It must be. Yeah, everything's a final in the NBA tonight. Washington beat Dallas. Boy, Dallas is struggling. Washington beat Dallas tonight 113-105. It was Atlanta beating Philadelphia 104-95. It was, let's see here, pull up my NBA. Atlanta beat Philly 104-95. Miami beat Charlotte 117-112. And Portland beat New Orleans 106-95. So, wow. Kind of interesting there. Huh. By the way, I was talking about that Kyrie Irving story before. And now even Adam Silver has weighed in, saying Kyrie is not anti-Semitic. I know I might have briefly kind of glossed that over in the first segment, but you're getting the sense that, you know, now the NBA is saying we want Kyrie back on the court. They kind of want this story to go away, and it kind of surprised me that Adam Silver took that stance, but he has. And Adam Silver's Jewish. And again, I don't have a problem with anybody who's saying that Kyrie is not anti-Semitic, especially people who might know him a little better. I don't have an issue with that. I do have an issue with them mandating or trying to dictate the terms by which Kyrie gets to come back. That's something only the Brooklyn Nets should be able to do. And I think to some degree the league is probably worried about having a similar situation to that the NFL had with Colin Kaepernick. Now, I have said this before and I'll say it again. The two are completely separate and different. What Kaepernick was standing up for versus what's going on with Kyrie are two completely different things. And if Kyrie finds himself out of the league, it's not just going to be because of this. It's going to be because of a number of controversial statements he's made. And the fact that he's taken a lot of stances that have put him on the wrong side of issues, of important issues. And as a result, he may have just talked himself out of the league. There's a lot of talent in this league. Teams aren't going to put up with the distractions and the headaches that come with a guy like Kyrie Irving. They just don't need it. So we'll see what happens. His suspension is almost up with Brooklyn, and whether or not he adheres to the 6 things they want him to do in order to come back to the team, we'll have to wait and see. He's missed 4 games so far. Could be eligible to return Sunday against the Lakers if the Nets decide to reinstate him. We'll keep you posted on Thursday Night Football, the latest from there, and more as we continue on the Cash In. I'm Jason Page at SportsMap Radio. Oh, tonight's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. No, I like it too. It's a big play right here. Yep, they did. 4th down. On 3rd and 8? On 4th and 8? Huh? No, it's 4th and 8. You're way behind me, dude. Yeah, dude. Get a real internet connection. 9:26. It's called buffering. Buffering. Carolina, field goal's good. 22-9. Yeah, it's 22-9. No, it's 13. No, it's 13. 22-9. 13. Boy, math is not your strong suit, huh? Oh, my God. See, Atlanta needs a touchdown or a field goal anyway. So if they get close enough, they'll probably take the field goal, and then we're winners. Backdoor cover. 20 minutes till the top of the hour. We continue with the cash in, SportsMap Radio, and the SportsMap Radio app. Hey, let me tell you about my friends at playfortickets.com. Want to go see football's biggest game in Glendale, Arizona this February? How about $50,000 in cash plus hotel, airfare, all taken care of? You need to go to playfortickets.com right now. Playfortickets.com has a free-to-play game called Super Pick 7. Go play the Super Pick 7 contest right now. Every Sunday of the NFL season, including the playoffs, gives you a chance to win, and it couldn't be easier. Here's what you got to do. Go to playfortickets.com. Sign up. It's free to play, free to sign up. There are no catches involved. All you got to do is pick the correct side and totals on Sunday for 7 games. It's that simple. Use your football expertise each week to have a chance to win 2 tickets to the big game in Arizona and put $50,000 of cash in your pocket. It's free to play. Why wouldn't you do it? If I told you had a free chance to go win $50,000 and go to football's biggest game, wouldn't you do it? Free to play at playfortickets.com. Again, pick the correct side and totals on Sunday for 7 games. So that means you pick the spread and the total for 7 different games. If you're correct, 2 tickets to football's biggest game, $50,000 cash in your pocket. And there's a special bonus for this weekend's game. If you get a perfect score, you'll be the winner of a round of golf with John Daly on November 14th. Something tells me there'll be a lot of beer during that round. You play any golf, Belmer? No. There you go. I've broken clubs, but not that way. 21 and over, terms and conditions apply. Playfortickets.com. Playfortickets.com. Go check it out, the Super Pick 7 contest here on the Cash In. We've got 9:17 to go in the 4th. 2nd and 4 for Atlanta, trailing Carolina 22-9. We've given you 2 live betting picks tonight. We said take Atlanta when they were plus 10.5, and we told you to take them when they were plus 12.5. They now trail 22-9. So a simple field goal will do it. You'll win both picks with just a simple field goal. That Carolina field goal really doesn't impact all that much when it comes to the bet. So if you were feeling good about Carolina before, we'll see how you're doing now. They're out around midfield now with 8:18 to go. I feel a backdoor cover coming, Mr. Belmer. I could feel it. It's in my bones. We were a winner last night. We're going to try to do the same tonight. 1-800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. And again, you can tweet at the show if you want. Hit me up there at the back page. Again, on Twitter, at the back page. Couple of baseball items. Clayton Kershaw coming back for another year, and he's going back to the Dodgers. It'll be his 16th season. You get the sense he just doesn't want to play anywhere else. He wants to be a lifelong Dodger. Because I'm sure if he wanted, there's a number of teams out there that would be interested in his services. Problem is, I mean, look, I like Clayton Kershaw. I think he's got great stuff. You know, he's still one of the best pitchers when he's healthy. But, I mean, look, 12-3 last year, 2.28 ERA. That's all great. He pitched 126 in a third innings. Started the All-Star game. But he keeps having health issues. And the Dodgers have got to change the dynamic in terms of their starting pitchers, 5 or 6 innings and then go to the bullpen. During the regular season, it works fine. It doesn't work during the postseason. So, they're going to have to figure something out with these guys. The Dodgers already have 4 starting pitchers locked in for next year. Kershaw, Julio Urias, Dustin May, and Tony Gonsolin. And Tyler Anderson, who had an all-star season last year, was extended a qualifying offer. He's got another 10 days to accept it. Justin Turner declined, or the Dodgers, I should say, declined the $16 million option on Justin Turner's contract Thursday. But they're hoping they can bring him back as well. Who knows? Maybe Justin Turner winds up somewhere else. There's been some ideas floated around about him potentially winding up back where he began his career with the Mets. Could happen. We got a 4th and 10 here for Atlanta. Not good. 4th and 10 coming up for Atlanta on their own 48. And it looks like they're going to go for it. If this doesn't go well, could be bad for our 2 live bets that we've given you tonight. Strap up. We'll have to see what happens if Atlanta could get the first down here. We'll have complete post-game coverage, by the way, like we do every week here on Thursday nights on the Cash-In. You'll hear from the head coaches. You'll hear from the quarterbacks. All of that good stuff as we continue here. Did Mariota get sacked? Yep. That's that. So Carolina's going to get the football back on Atlanta's side of the field in a 22-9 game. Now you're going to need a whole lot of help for the Falcons on our plus 10.5, plus 12.5 live bets with them trailing 22-9. We'll keep you posted on that as well. So 1-800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. I was thinking about this earlier as I was watching the game tonight about Thursday Night Football. And you know what Thursday Night Football is? Prime Video Thursday Night Football. And I've watched now enough first halves because you got to remember, our show starts usually around halftime. So I don't see the first half. I don't have the sound turned up unless I, pop it on during the commercials or anything like that. But you know what I've come to the conclusion of? And this is hard for me to say as somebody that admires Al Michaels and what he's done in this industry. Prime Video Thursday Night Football is the poor man's Sunday Night Football. Am I wrong, Belmer? I mean, that's that, but I mean, think about it. That's actually what it's become. Prime Video Thursday Night Football is a poor man's Sunday Night Football. The video quality issues they've had, I'm sorry, but Kirk Herbstreit's not good. And Al Michaels is stuck with him. And Al Michaels is still good, although I have to be honest, listening to him, I don't hear the passion. It doesn't even sound like he's having fun. I bet if we gave him truth serum, hooked him up to a lie detector with Robert De Niro on the other end, and said, "Are you having fun this year?" I don't think he could honestly say he is. He doesn't sound like a guy who's having fun. He sounds like somebody going through the motions. He is, but I'm gonna give you another prediction. You ready? This will be Al Michaels' first and only year on Prime Video. I think he's done after this year. He doesn't want to sit around and do these games. They're terrible. You can't ask this man. And look, I get it. You can't build. The NFL cannot build its schedule of games on Thursday nights. I mean, it's got to be. I can't even imagine how they do this stuff anyway. I can't imagine what it's like to put together the NFL schedule. But you cannot, with a guy like Al Michaels, these aren't the games he was made to do. These aren't the games you have one of the most venerable voices in all of sports broadcasting doing. And I have to wonder if in his heart of hearts, and I know people are watching, whether it's 8 million, 7 million, 10 million, depending on the game, depending on the night. I get that people are watching, and frankly, that's all of us. I hate to say it. All of us in this business, there's only one thing we want more than anything, and that's for you to be listening or watching. The one thing that crushes us most isn't if you hate on us, if you send us negative tweets, or if you call in and call me a jerk, or I don't care about any of that. You know what we hate more than anything? Indifference. That is what hurts media personalities, so to speak, more than anything. It's indifference. And I think there's an indifference by a lot of NFL fans towards this game. They might be watching it, but look around on the TV landscape tonight. What else are you watching on a Thursday night? And I get people have to, pay for this subscription service or find a bar that has it on or whatever, but this is not a great product. The pre and post game is kind of propaganda-ish. It's all about promoting different things on Amazon. I have to be honest, it feels like a very poor man's Sunday Night Football. Herb Street was not the right pick to put with Al Michaels, by the way. He just wasn't. He sounds, at times I hear certain phraseology from him that tells me he's spending 80% of his week on his college football obligations and 20% on this. That's what it feels like. This thing's going to look different next year, I'm promising you. If I'm wrong, I'll be the first one to come on the air here on, in September of 2023, if I'm still alive. I know it's kind of macabre, right? You never know. None of us are guaranteed tomorrow. I'll be the first one to come on the air and say that I'm wrong, but this thing's going to look different next year. It has to. Whether it's the games, whether it's the schedule of games that they put on. If I'm Amazon, I'm pissed off. I was told by the NFL, I promised the NFL we're going to be able to deliver certain ratings, but you can't deliver certain ratings. Certain expectations for ratings, you cannot possibly deliver them when you've got a slate of games that's hot garbage, for lack of a better word. By the way, Atlanta's defense does the job, stops the Panthers. Carolina punts it away, able to down it inside the Atlanta 5. That's where the Falcons will begin. You're still alive if you got them plus 10.5 and plus 12.5. In fact, right now, can I say we have a third pick? You ready for this, Belmer? I'm not just doubling down, I'm tripling down. Right now, you could get Atlanta plus 13.5. And they're down 22-9. So you can make a bet right now where you're winning right now. Yeah, let's lock it in. I'm going 3 different live bets on Atlanta in this game. I mean, if we keep betting them, we'll have to be right eventually, right? It's like the guy who loses and then he doubles down on the next bet. He bets, instead he loses 100, bets 200 on the next bet. Loses that bet, bets 400 on the next bet. Eventually, you're going to be right. I like Atlanta right now, though, plus 13.5 with the football. Even on their own 4, I would take them. Because worst case scenario, if they run a few plays here, punt it away, Carolina's just going to look to run out the clock. They're not even going to try to score because they're not going to want to give the Falcons the football back. No, absolutely. Take Atlanta plus 13.5 right now. You with me, Belmer? You with me? Wow. All right. Thanks. Well, I know. Tonight they haven't been able to run the football at all. And their identity this season has been running the football. They had something like 35 yards rushing in the first half. You just can't. You can't win football games. Yeah, you can't win football games that way. If you're asking Marcus Mariota to win the game strictly with his arm, they're not doing enough with Kyle Pitts. And in that promo, I actually talk about the fact that they're starting to use Kyle Pitts more. They've regressed in that regard. They're just not getting enough out of Kyle Pitts right now, plain and simple. So we'll see what happens. We got Atlanta locked in 3 times at 10.5, 12.5, and now 13.5, trailing the Panthers 22-9. This is going to hurt our percentage if we wind up wrong on all 3 of these. We'll wrap up the hour next on SportsMap Radio. Oy vey. Come on. And sports betting got voted down officially in California. So pissed. I'm so pissed. They voted it down. Ballot initiative failed miserably. You know why? Because they flooded the airwaves and every other ad was for and against it, and people just lashed out and said, we're going to strike it down for online and the casinos. They punished both sides. Oh, it does. It does. It punishes both sides. Because there was two propositions. One was allowing mobile sports betting, which would have been like FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM. The other proposition was for the tribal casinos. And all they did was snipe at each other for 6 months, and everybody said, fuck all of you. We're going to strike him down for both of you. Yeah, it really does. Run, Mariota, run! Oh, he almost broke it. And here's the worst part. They can only do it during election years, so it means 2 more years. Texas is similar to that, right? Yeah. Yeah. Awful. It's awful. It's a disaster. So we're not going to have sports betting here, and I have to decide whether I want to stay in California. Like, I might literally move. Looking at Seattle. Looking at Seattle, looking at New York. My husband really likes Seattle. I've been there a lot. No, it's not that bad. I mean, it's no more expensive. Every major city is expensive now. Well, except Houston, because it's a hole. I've been there. No. I mean, I'll give it another try when I come out for the Final Four. Maybe something will change. But I doubt it. Well, I came literally for like 4th of July weekend, and it was 105 and humid. It was gross, and it rained, and I didn't really get to see much because I literally just did my shows, went back to the hotel, and the only thing I went and did was I went to the Houston Dynamo game. Other than that, I didn't see much. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Marcus Mariota working some magic here. I feel a backdoor cover. We might win all 3 of these bets instead of losing one of them. All 3 of them. Or winning 2 of them. Or losing 2 of them. A lot of scenarios out there right now for us. We took Atlanta at 10.5, 12.5, and 13.5. They trail 22-9 with the football. 4:26 to go. 4th quarter. We told you all to take them. They were our official picks of the night here on the cash-in, and we're all going to sweat it out together here. We'll see how we do. Atlanta moving the football, though. That's what I do now. 1-800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. If you feel inclined to opine on anything, tweet at me as well. You can do it at The Back Page, again on Twitter, at The Back Page. Next hour of the show right around the corner. Legal woes for the NFL, the Washington Commanders and Roger Goodell. We will get into that. Also in the next hour, we'll do our NFL halfway awards. Midway through the season. Mid-season NFL awards. We'll do that in the next hour. If you got a pick for it, let us know. On Twitter at The Back Page, or you can call in later on and we'll talk it out. What do we got here? Atlanta moving the football out around their own. Oh, no, I did not see it, but that's good news. Is that a touchdown? Oh, it's a touchdown for Atlanta. Oh, we're going to go 3-0 on our live picks. Oh, we do it again. Another hour of the cash in right around the corner. Stay with us. Kyle Pitts. Oh, that's awesome. Yep. Extra point. No good again. Jesus Christ. I mean, it doesn't matter for our bet, but still. Yeah, Younghoe Koo's having a rough night. So 22-15. Right now, we're 3-0 on our live bets. Oh, that's awesome. Just sit right back and hear a tale of a fateful trip. All right. Cool. Thank you. Dun, 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 dun. Whew. Scary part is Atlanta could still win this game. And there was a point where they were like plus 1,500 on the money line. Imagine. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no question. You gotta have a bankroll, though. I mean, that's the exact thing. You have to have a bankroll. Wow, Atlanta got the ball back on their own 33. Wow. Who would have seen this coming? Who would have seen this coming about 20 minutes ago? I'm going to have to get my online sports betting, my offshore sports betting account fired up again. They're wasting him. He's so good. Kyle Pitts is the real deal. I don't understand the issues with him and Mariota and the ability to get him the football consistently. I just don't get it. But here's Atlanta in a position right now. I know they got a 3rd and 19 coming up, but the fact that they're even at this point in the game. So we gave you 3 live bets last hour. And we are live betting machines on this show, and all we do is win. I mean, people have got to be watching this show and listening to this show if you want to win. We told you when Atlanta was down 19-9, we told you to take Atlanta plus 10.5. Then we told you to take them at plus 12.5 when they were down 19-9. Then we told you to take them plus 13.5 when they were down 22-9. That touchdown they scored just before the end of the last hour made it 22-15. We are on the verge of going 3-0 on our live in-game picks tonight. I mean, you can't do better than that. I got news for you. I don't know how much you know about sports betting. You can't do better than undefeated. Well, Marcus Mariota got sacked on 4th down, so Carolina's going to get it back. And barring some crazy ending to this, we're going to go 3-0 on our live bets, and Carolina's going to get a win over the Falcons, who are going to be 4-6. We're coming back. More to do in this hour of the cash-in. Commanders, NFL, Roger Goodell, they're all in trouble with the law. That's next on SportsMap Radio. What was going on? The audio went like in and out. Oh, really? I've had some Wi-Fi issues today, so it wouldn't shock me. Let me connect. I'll disconnect right now. I reconnected. Yeah, because I heard the music and then it was gone for like a couple seconds. Is Atlanta out of timeouts? Yeah, even a field goal doesn't hurt us here. Yeah, field goal would just make it 25-15. We'd still cover all three. I wonder if they even kick the field goal, though, because it stops the clock. You know what I mean? It gives them the ball back, touchdown, or onside kick, all that crazy stuff. Go for it on fourth. Oh, no. No touchdown. Oh, my God. They almost got a touchdown. Oh, my God. 58 seconds. It's called buffering. Oh, and then a holding penalty brings it back? No. Oh, my God. This is like they're going to score some bullshit touchdown, and I'm going to lose my mind. Be the worst bad beat. Oh, my God. No, I ran it. All right, we're golden. We might have taken a victory lap a little early. Jesus, this game just will not end. Just kick the field goal and be done with it. So Carolina with the ball, 22-15. It's a fourth down coming up late. We told you to take Atlanta plus 10.5, plus 12.5, and plus 13.5. All of them are good right now. As long as literally we were 4 yards from Carolina scoring a touchdown. Luckily, a holding penalty brought it back. But looks like we're good. They're going to kick some field goal. I don't know if they're going to kick a field goal here or just go for it on fourth down. Maybe throw it up towards the end zone. Just don't throw a touchdown. Just do not throw a touchdown here. That'd be the worst beat ever. We would literally lose all three bets. We would go from winning all three bets to losing all three bets. All right, they're lining up for the field goal. We're good. That's it. It's a winner. Cash the check, baby. Whew. Pinheiro kicks this field goal, makes it a 10-point game. All three of our live bets will cover, and we all live happily ever after. And we gave you 3 more winners tonight. That's why you got to listen. I'm telling you. Doesn't matter where you are. Yes, there we go. Field goal is good. 10 seconds to go. Carolina up 10. They're going to get the win. So Carolina will improve to 3-6 on the season. 3-7, sorry. Atlanta will drop to 4-6. I mean, this is crazy to say, but if Seattle does what I think they're going to do and beats Tampa Bay, that's a very suspicious line. I still can't get my head around why Seattle is plus 2.5 in Munich against Tampa Bay. I cannot figure that. That line is the most suspicious line I've seen in the NFL all year. Doesn't make any sense to me. But let's assume Seattle wins. You will have Tampa Bay and Atlanta leading the division at 4-6, with Carolina 1 game out of the division lead at 3-7. I mean, it's laughable on some levels. It's embarrassing on some levels for the NFL to have a division like this. But at the same time, At least it's going to give those fan bases something to still get interested in, because if you normally said a team is 3-7 through 10 games, most fans are checking out by that point of the season. You can't do that. If you're a Carolina Panthers fan, you cannot check out. And I think the team's played better since they dealt Christian McCaffrey. And I think P.J. Walker's going to remain the starter. I think he's like 2-1 as the starting quarterback, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what the Atlanta Falcons do off of a game like this. I don't know how much of it you attribute to the weather and all this different stuff, but kind of disappointing. Disappointing effort. I don't think the touchdown was to Kyle Pitts, by the way. I don't think the touchdown that Atlanta scored was to Kyle Pitts. I don't think it was. Let's see if I can pull up the game cast here. Let's see. No, it was Kadarrell Hodge from Mariota. So another just blah night for Kyle Pitts, and they've got to figure that out. So Carolina beats Atlanta 25-15. It's a final. Our 3 live bets are winners. By the way, the greatest ending, like when baseball teams win games, they always play a song at the end of the game. The Oakland Athletics use the one you just played. Celebrate good. But it's cool. But they're the team that's used that forever. So whenever they win, they play that in the stadium, and it's great. Why? Oh, because they're in the same division? Because they're in the AL West? You're punching down, though. You're punching down. You're punching at a franchise that may not even have a home soon. That's really, that's really punching down. Mark, I feel for the city of Oakland, though. I'm a huge fan of the city of Oakland. I know it's not San Francisco, and it's a totally different vibe, although the cities are starting to look more alike in terms of the issue with homelessness and poverty and the cost of living and all of those things. But basically San Francisco stole the Golden State Warriors. They lost the Raiders, and now they're on the verge of losing the A's. They're not going to have anything soon. And that's kind of sad for a city that once had baseball, football, and basketball. At one time, it was a 3-sport city, and now it's got 1. And unless something crazy happens in terms of getting a stadium built for them, they're not going to be there much longer. Hey, second hour of the show, 1-800-224-2004. You'll get complete post-game coverage on this Thursday night NFL game where Carolina beats Atlanta by a final score of 25-15. 1-800-224-2004. You can tweet at the show if you want to at the back page. Our phone lines are open for the whole night tonight because we are guest-free. Nobody wanted to come on. So you guys get to talk as much as you want if you've got something you want to weigh in on. We're going to do our NFL midseason awards coming up a little later on in the hour. Legal woes for the NFL, Roger Goodell, and the Washington Commanders. And look, you can only hide for so long. And I made this point when this whole thing about Daniel Snyder came out a few weeks back and how he had the goods and surveillance and recon on other NFL owners, and he could sink and embarrass a lot of these owners with information he has if the league were to force him to sell the team. And then it came out that he was going to try to sell the team. Again, this is a guy that knows where all the bodies are buried. I mean, there's 30 NFL owners. However many teams. There's 30 NFL owners. And that's a very small fraternity. The kind of information that exists inside that tiniest of bubbles, of sports owners in a particular league. We were talking about with Jason Cole, our NFL friend who writes for Outkick. The owners who have, drug addictions and guys who are recovering drug addicts and stuff like that. You know about Jim Irsay's own demons and things that he's battled. Hopefully he's doing well. But the Bob Crafts of the world getting naughty massages in Florida. Jerry Jones and whatever's happened with him that's been reported on over the years. By the way, we still love the Cowboys on this show. Them and the 49ers are two picks to potentially come out of the NFC, go to the Super Bowl. There's all these different things out there, and Daniel Snyder's got the goods supposedly on everybody. Well, now the Attorney General for Washington, D.C. has filed a civil lawsuit against the Commanders, Daniel Snyder, the NFL, and Roger Goodell for allegedly colluding to deceive fans and district residents about the league's investigation into the team's toxic workplace culture and allegations of sexual assault in an effort to maintain a strong fan base and to increase profits. By the way, I didn't know you could sue for this. I'm not going to lie. I'm glad they are, because I think the NFL is built on a house of cards of tons of illegal activity. I wouldn't mind seeing the house of cards fall and people held to account and some of the structure of this league change and people be dragged out onto the carpet. I want to be there for. I got my popcorn. Figuratively speaking, I got my popcorn. I want to see it. I want to see guys get embarrassed. I want to see emails revealed. I want to see text messages. I want to hear hidden tapes. I want all of it. But Jay, you're rooting for the league to be taken down as it's currently constructed? Hell yes. Because it's a spit show. It's awful what this league does. How it treats people. How it views women. How it allows ownership to view women. How it allows its players to treat women. Do I like watching the product on the field? Absolutely. Will I go eat Chick-fil-A? Yes. Do I believe in everything they stand for? No. It's the same thing. I can like something, but still not support the people running it. Attorney General Karl Racine said his office was suing, quote, because you can't lie to D.C. residents in order to protect your image and profits and get away with it, no matter who you are. Racine then added, even if you're the National Football League. Look, I think the greatest thing that could ever happen in sports, and it'll never happen, is get rid of the antitrust exemption. Let the government just go after these leagues. I know our federal government's got better things to do and much bigger fish to fry. I get it. You could chew bubblegum and walk at the same time, though. There's no saying you can't hold these leagues to account and still do the other things you're supposed to do. Yeah, I know. You got to take your 18 weeks of vacation if you're a congressman or a senator. Racine took a shot at Snyder's virtual deposition with the U.S. House Committee on Oversight and Reform, saying depositions are, quote, not likely to occur on a yacht, but in a conference room in the District of Columbia. He alleges while the league and team publicly promised an independent investigation, Snyder waged an interference campaign to cover up years of harassment and that the NFL let him do it, betraying fans' trust by enabling Snyder to have a say at the end of the investigation into him and the Commanders. This from the well-written story by Tisha Thompson on ESPN.com. We will issue subpoenas, Racine said. We will seek testimony under oath. Wow. This is bad news for the league, and this is a league that, this is a league that likes to try and avoid this sort of negative publicity. We've seen them go through this for a number of years, and they always seem to have that sort of Teflon Don sort of fortune when it comes to all of these negative stories. They just go into the background as long as games are being played. I don't know why this would wind up being any different than those previous NFL indiscretions that just suddenly disappeared. While not specifying the damages he's seeking, Racine said the law provides for... You ready for this, John Belmer? This is funny. The law provides for fines of up to $5,000 per lie. I I never knew there was a price that you could put on a lie. Up to $5,000. So wait, it says up to $5,000 per lie. So here's why that's funny. What's like a $50 lie? And what's like a $5,000 lie? I'd say like a $50 lie is, honey, I really do want to go see your in-laws this weekend. Like that'd be like a $50 lie. Whereas, no, honey, that phone, that text message on my phone, it wasn't from another woman. That'd be like a $5,000 lie, something like that. How do you monetize a lie? If it's a lie, it's a lie. I don't know how you monetize a lie. I wonder how often people lie in the course of a day. 5,000. Thank you for showing you have no faith in humanity. $5,000 up to $5,000 per lie. That could get expensive. All right, we're coming back. 1-800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. This story, by the way, isn't just bad news for the NFL and Washington and all these teams. It could be bad news for a lot of owners with a lot of skeletons in their closet. We'll come back and continue on the Cash In on SportsMap Radio. Meow. Do you believe? Tua. I like that. Short. Woo! Ooh, yeah. Yow! Ha 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 ha! Yeah. And don't sing along with the music. You ever seen Howard Stern, Private Parts? Anybody who's ever wanted to know anything about radio, you got to see that movie. It's great. I was talking about Poison the other night with our other producer, Brian McDonald. I've seen them in concert. I think once I've seen them. Only once. They're good. They're still very entertaining. 1-800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. Tweet at the show at the back page. I was saying this before the break, and we'll have plenty on the post game coming up. We'll hear from Steve Wilkes. We'll get all sorts of post game reaction from the participants involved in Thursday Night Football. So I was talking about just before the break, just to expound upon that before we move on from it. There's a ton of NFL owners. And in the sorts of information that you'll see subpoenaed by this District of Columbia, this DC AG, you're going to wind up with a lot of collateral damage. They might ask for one thing, but but embedded in that thing they're asking for might lead to an unraveling of problems in other areas that we don't even know about. That's the danger of something like this kind of investigation for the NFL, is the collateral damage that could come. Other owners caught on tape, in emails, in text messages saying certain things. Are those guys going to be protected? Because as much as this story feels like it's heat coming down on Daniel Snyder or heat coming down on Roger Goodell or the NFL or the Commanders organization, I think it winds up creating a domino effect that leads to a whole bunch of other people. And I'm telling you, that has to scare a lot of NFL owners. I guarantee you there were a lot of NFL owners talking to their attorneys on Thursday. Let's talk about my friends at Jock MKT for a moment. Jock MKT, well, they offer live daily markets for sports that let you buy and sell shares of athletes in real time with other users, all for real money. And each share has a guaranteed payout at the end of the night. Bid on shares before the games in our IPO phase and trade shares live while the games are happening. All shares have a guaranteed payout at the end of the night. They're currently live in 36 states with more to come for the NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, PGA, and NASCAR. If Jock MKT sounds like Jock Market, that's what it basically is. Instead of a stock market where you go and get stocks in your favorite companies, you can go get shares of your favorite players. It's fantasy only taken to a whole new level and a lot cooler. Instead of having to build out an entire lineup of 8 or 9 guys and hoping they all hit and play well at the same time, you could just take 1 or 2 players that you really like in a particular game. That's what Jock MKT is all about. Head over to the Jock MKT app or go to jockmkt.com and deposit with code CASHIN, my promo code, CASHIN, to receive a 100% deposit match up to $100. Your first market will also be risk-free, with losses refunded up to $100. Again, my promo code, CASHIN, receive a $100 deposit match up to $100. And that first market will also be risk-free, losses refunded up to $100. JockMKT.com or the Jock MKT app here on the Cash In. Good to have you with us. 1-800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. I'm curious if you're a Falcons fan and you just got done listening or watching the game. I'm curious to get your thoughts, what your impressions are on this team now. And even if you're a Carolina fan at this point, I mean, I think, again, that division is fascinating when you consider all the possibilities that still exist. I mean, nobody's dead in the NFC South right now. I mean, you have Tampa Bay at 4-5, Atlanta at 4-6. The Saints are 3-6. They're still not dead. And Carolina is 3-7. Let's just peek at the Carolina schedule here real quick. It's crazy. We're looking at a schedule for a team that's got 3 wins. We should be talking about them trying to tank for the first pick in the draft. Instead, we're talking about them potentially as a playoff team. It's nuts. They are at the schedule is not easy. Next 3, at the Ravens, home for the Broncos, at the Seahawks. That's not going to be easy. And then their last 4 are home for the Steelers, home for the Lions, at the Buccaneers. And by the way, keep this in mind. If somehow Tampa Bay and Carolina wind up tied, Carolina beat Tampa Bay 21-3 about a month ago. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to need that game against Carolina second to last week of the season, New Year's Day. Potentially. Again, who knows what happens over the next, month and a half. Carolina could go down the crapper, but still. So they finish with the Steelers, Lions, those games in Charlotte, at the Buccaneers, at the Saints. I mean, there's some winnable games for them if you're looking at the mediocrity around the league. Is it crazy to think they could win 4, 5? They could wind up with 7 wins. And I was saying this in the break with John Belmer. John, 7 wins could win that division. It is, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, Tampa Bay right now has 4 wins. And their schedule, they're home for they're in Munich for the Seahawks. I think that's a loss, so they're going to be 4-6. Then they're at Cleveland. That's no gimme. Home for the Saints. Then they're at the 49ers, home for the Bengals, at the Cardinals, home for the Panthers, home for the Falcons. This might be a 7-win team. I think 9 wins is a lock. I think 8 wins is probably a lock for the division. And 7 might have an outside shot to win the division. It's nuts. I've never seen anything like it. We're back with our mid-season NFL awards. We're monitoring post-game, too, on the cash-in at SportsMap Radio. Oh, just hitting the brake. Perfect. God. Yeah. But that's crazy. That division is just nuts. Yeah, Seattle went 7-9 and won the division and got a home playoff game and wound up winning. That was the beast mode game. Yeah, they don't care. People are watching. We're talking about it. It's storylines. That's all they care about. 1 second. I got to take my headphones off. Open YouTube TV. Don't need nothing but a good time. How can I resist? Open YouTube TV. Love being able to talk to my remote. Technology just blows my mind sometimes. Like, we talk to everything in this house. I have more conversations with my appliances than I do with my husband. Yeah, that's true. Okay. Flush twice to get to Poland. Bluetooth. Aftershock. Shortcaster. "20 minutes till the top of the hour." Caching continues on SportsMap Radio and the SportsMap Radio app. Thoughts on the Thursday night football game? Thoughts on Thursday night football in general this year? If you've been watching the games, I'm curious to know what people think. 1-800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. Who would you like to see instead of Kirk Herbstreit next year? Because I don't think he's going to be back. I think this is a one season and done thing for him. I wouldn't be shocked if it's one season and done for Al Michaels at this point. But who would you like to see on Thursday Night Football Prime Video? If you like the broadcast, you could tell me that too. But I'm curious what people think of Thursday Night Prime Video. Because I said it earlier in the show. To me, it feels like a poor man's. Monday Night Football. Poor man's Sunday Night Football, rather. That's kind of what I'm getting from it right now. I wonder how Arthur Smith is feeling after this loss, because this was not a good performance by this team. Unable to run the football effectively. Very, very disappointing performance by the Falcons tonight. And you gotta wonder, what this team, which is in a position to win a division, what kind of changes do you make? It's got to be so tricky for franchises like Carolina, the Saints, Atlanta, and in the case of two of the three, Atlanta and Carolina, you were looking at kind of rebuilding years anyway. And kind of being sucky enough to get a really good draft pick, get one of these three quarterbacks that are at the top of the draft. And instead, you find yourselves basically in a race to potentially win a division title. But if you're too good, you may not get one of those top three picks and still lose the division, because a team like Houston's going to probably be in position right now to get one of those top picks for sure. They've been... as bad as you would have expected them to be, all things considered, for that organization, no longer with Deshaun Watson there. I mean, you've got Houston at 1-6-1. You've got the Steelers at 2-6. You've got the Raiders, which now have to be thinking, hey, do we try and go get our next quarterback in this draft? I mean, obviously, you've got to get to a point where you make a decision. All right, we cannot win with Derek Carr or Josh McDaniels or anything. And maybe you just blow this whole thing up, which sounds crazy for a team that just relocated to Vegas, trying to, put it together. They go get Devontae Adams. But you got retirements. You've got, former first-round picks being released. Blake Martinez retired at the age of 28 today. I mean, the Raiders are an absolute mess. It doesn't matter if they're in Los Angeles, if they're in Oakland, if they're in Vegas. They are a mess. You thought maybe they started to turn it around last year after they got rid of John Gruden. They still made the playoffs, interim head coach, all of that. And they've gone so far backwards this year. And I know you could make the argument, they could just as easily be 5-3 or 6-2 as they are 2-6, but you are what your record says you are at this point. And I can't for the life of me figure out, if you're the Raiders, do you go into tank mode now? You're 4 games back of the Chiefs for the division halfway through the season. You're in dead last. And the wild card picture is bleak because you've got the Bills, Ravens, Titans, and Chiefs all leading their divisions. And then you've got a 6-3 Jets team, a 6-3 Dolphins team, a 5-4 Bengals team, and a 5-3 Chargers team. The Raiders aren't catching any of these teams. The season is lost in Vegas. So where do you go as an organization at that point? If you're Mark Davis, are you telling Josh McDaniels, be as bad as you could be, we'll bring you back, we'll give you a brand new quarterback, you could help in the process of picking who your next quarterback is, and you got 3 years, go. To me, that might be the route they have to go. You're going to fire Josh McDaniel after this year, and bring in who? Sean Payton? Let him pick his quarterback? I mean, I guess that's a possibility. I don't think that'd necessarily be fair to Josh McDaniels, but they've lost so many close games in the fourth quarter that on some level, Josh McDaniel has to be held accountable. So it's a crazy situation in Vegas with the Raiders. All right, we're at the halfway point of the NFL season, and we should be talking about midseason awards. It's the 2022 campaign, and I'm curious, I have not thought of Jalen Hurts as an MVP candidate because I think he's been good. I don't think he's been out of this world amazing. I think that team is, as good as the sum of its parts, meaning I think everybody, all 54 men on that team's roster, to me, are contributing to that team's success. They're good because of the entire roster, not, 4 or 5 players that are carrying the load. And I think Hurts has been really good, but I know it's crazy to say the best team in football, the quarterback, but I'm just not there. I still think when push comes to shove later in this season, they're not going undefeated, pipe down. I'm just not buying, the whole Jalen Hurts thing. If I had to go between, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and maybe Geno Smith, who you put in that category as well. I mean, heck, if Tua Tagovailoa wasn't hurt for several games, he might be in that conversation. He's been that kind of good this year. I'd probably still go Patrick Mahomes. But there's still a whole nother half to the season. That's why this is the midseason awards. I'll go Patrick Mahomes right now as my MVP. Offensive Player of the Year. Josh Allen certainly has to be in the conversation. Tyreek Hill has to be in the conversation. I'd probably lean towards Tyreek Hill right now. I mean, he has been such a game changer. Jalen, and he's making guys around him better. He's making Tua better. He's making Jalen Waddle better. So if I had to say Offensive Player of the Year right now, I'd probably go with Tyreek Hill. Defensive Player of the Year is easy. It's Micah Parsons, and there's no conversation to go anywhere else with it. Micah Parsons has been such a game changer on the defensive side of the ball. The way guys used to have to game plan for a guy like Lawrence Taylor back in the day, or Reggie White in his prime, or a Bruce Smith. I mean, Micah Parsons is that kind of dynamic player. Troy Polamalu. I mean, Micah Parsons has been as good as you could be. He won the defensive rookie honors last year, and right now he is the defensive player of the year. Plain and simple. By the way, if you've got an opinion on this as well, you can weigh in. 1-800-224-2004. Who is your first half MVP? 800-224-2004. Hit me up on Twitter as well at the back page. Offensive Rookie of the Year. I'd probably go Kenneth Walker of the Seahawks. Again, another team that's as good as the sum of its parts. Yes, Geno Smith has been way better than I think most people thought he was going to be. But Kenneth Walker, their young running back there, I don't know if he's Derrick Henry 2.0 or the next version of Derrick Henry, but he's pretty damn good. And he's given the Seahawks a chance to go back to what they were, even in the best years with Russell Wilson. They were a team that liked to run the football a lot. And with Kenneth Walker being as effective as he's been, they definitely have the opportunity to do that. So I'll go Kenneth Walker as my offensive rookie MVP. Sauce Gardner, defensive rookie of the year, and it's not even close. I mean, for a Jets team that is anemic offensively, the New York Jets this year have scored 196 points, and I bet a bunch of them have been on the defensive end. They're 6-3. I have no idea how, because every time I watch them, I just go, Not a believer in Zach Wilson yet. I'll still question whether or not the Jets even make the playoffs. I know I'm going to be the last one to get on the bandwagon, and I probably won't be welcome. What do the Jets have left? Jets are at the Patriots 10 days from now, so they're on the bye this week. At the Patriots 10 days from now, that's a loss. Then they're home for the Bears, at the Vikings, at the Bills. So they could lose 3 of their next 4. So the bloom could be off the rose really fast on the Jets. They could be, 7-6 by the time we get to Thanksgiving or past Thanksgiving. But Sauce Gardner's the real deal, man. And they did really well drafting that corner. And they've done well in the draft over the last few years. Comeback player of the year, it's between 2 New York players. I'm not meaning to make this New York-centric, but Geno Smith or Geno Smith or Saquon Barkley. And while Barkley's been really good, Geno Smith has literally led this Seahawks team and made them look like geniuses for parting ways with Russell Wilson when they did and handing the keys over to him. The chants of Geno have echoed throughout Seattle throughout this entire season. But Saquon Barkley has been really good for the Giants and helped them establish an offensive identity again where, they're kind of running it to set up opportunities for Daniel Jones, who's also been really good this year. Coach of the year is a tricky one. There's a lot of guys right now at the midway point of the season that I could point to. A lot of guys I could look at. Brian Dable would be one. Nick Sirianni. Look, the Eagles are undefeated. I don't know how it isn't Nick Sirianni through the first 8 games. Even if you thought that Philadelphia was going to be good, there's no way you thought they'd be undefeated through 8 games. Pete Carroll has to be in the conversation. Mike Vrabel, that team got off to a dreadful start. He almost won last week with Malik Willis in Kansas City. Kevin O'Connell with Minnesota, although I don't believe that team is for real. I'll go with Nick Sirianni. Let's go with Nick Sirianni for coach of the year. For coach of the year at the midway point of the season. But that's wide open depending on what some of these teams do in the second half of the season. But Nick Sirianni right now, and think about the Giants with Dable. He literally set the tone for this season. He makes the decision to go for a 2-point conversion late in a game to beat the Titans on the road. And if not for that, if that decision goes the wrong way and the Giants wind up losing that Week 1 game in Tennessee, this entire season may wind up completely different. Because you look at what happened with Denver, that Week 1 game in Seattle, and the way that Nathaniel Hackett handled that situation and how their season unraveled from there. Who knows? Could have been the same way for the Giants. We'll go with Sirianni right now, midway through the season for Coach of the Year. We'll come back and wrap up this hour of the Cash In on SportsMap Radio next. I mean, it's got to be. It's got to be. Oh, yeah, Robert Saleh. Yeah. For the podcast, let's do the first segment where I talked about LeBron. Let's do the NFL, the lawsuit, the thing about the lawsuit. And then let's do the midway MVP picks. All right. Just make sure to edit out the stuff that doesn't have to do with that, because I know I kind of, you know what I mean? I love it. Yeah. Getting set to put the wraps on hour number 2. We'll get post-game sound from Arthur Smith. Arthur! It's one of those names. Steve Wilkes, Panthers head coach. By the way, betting odds right now on the Philadelphia Eagles to go 17-0. Betting odds right now on the Eagles to go 17-0. Plus 1,100 yes, minus 2,300 no. And for those that don't understand what that means, plus 1,100 means if you wager 100 on the Eagles to go 17-0, you would win $1,100. And minus 2,300 means you'd have to wager $2,300 to win $100 if they don't go undefeated. You like either of those, Belmer? Yeah, me neither. I don't think they're going undefeated. And I'm not laying $2,300 to win $100. It's kind of cost ineffective. Just saying. All right, we'll come back, get you some post-game sound from the Thursday night football game. Some baseball items to get to. Justin Verlander talking about the idea of going to New York. You'll want to hear what he has to say as we continue on the Cash-In at SportsMap Radio. Let's see here. We could have him? Why? Yeah, they do. I agree. Yeah, I tend to agree.
Things we got to do better, and it starts everywhere. It starts at the top of the game. Josh got the ball back, a chance to go win it, or tie it at the end. Our guys keep swinging. So there's a lot of things we got to do better, and it starts everywhere. It starts at the top with me, and there's a lot more goes into quarterback play than just stats. And we got to protect better. We got to do everything better. So you got to give Carolina credit. They came out, they got the lead. They won both lines of scrimmage. And it wasn't pretty. The drives we had going, we had some pretty, ugly penalties, moved us back. We were off track. We had a chance late.
Other decision to start Rashawn Fenton at cornerback.
And we're happy we have Rashawn.
You were cycling linebackers, inside linebackers. It looked like in the first half.
A lot of guys were.
All right, a frustrated Arthur Smith, and you've probably been frustrated if you've been betting on the Falcons the last 4 weeks, considering how they started. They were 6-0 ATS first 6 games of the season.
Wow, that's crazy. Falcons were 6-0 against the spread first 6 games of the year. Now they're 0-4 in their last 4. It's bonkers. The shit is bananas. Yeah. Just goes to show you. Trends are great if you get them early. They suck if you get them late. Like if at 5-0 you're like, I bet the Falcons every week. You're just crying in your beer. It's brutal. Bad boys, what you gonna do? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? They was talking about cops and stuff with Tiger Woods. Got me thinking about it. La 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 long long. One more time. Do you believe? I believe. I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe. Friend of mine was one of the people laid off in the massive layoffs by Facebook/Meta this week. Yeah, like 10,000 people. Yeah. I was talking to him this morning. They let him go in an email. Spent 3 years with the company, let him go in an email. Right. Final hour of a Thursday/Friday edition of the Cash In SportsMap Radio. The SportsMap Radio app. 1-800-224-2004. Did you watch Thursday Night Football? Have you been watching Thursday Night Football all year? Are you one of those people that just refuses to pay for it? 1-800-224-2004. Hit me up on Twitter. At the back page if you want. Get on Twitter. At the back page. In case you missed it, tonight we continued our prowess as it relates to live betting on this show. We went 3-0 thanks to the Atlanta Falcons. Thank you. They were down 19-9. We told you take them at plus 10.5. A couple of minutes later, we told you to take them at plus 12.5. Then they were down 22-9. We told you take them at plus 13.5. Final score, 25-15. Winner, winner, chicken parm dinner. 3-0. We were a winner last night in our live betting for the Lakers and Clippers. The under in that game. We told you to take it live at 219.5. It finished at like 215. Listen, you got to listen. You want to make money? Then you got to listen. Simple as that. The telephone number is 1-800-224-2004 if you want to just call and say, thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. I can now pay my mortgage. In this hour, we'll get some post-game sound. You'll hear from Falcons head coach Arthur Smith coming up in a few minutes. His reaction to... Look, I mean, the Falcons were 4-4 a couple of weeks ago. I picked them to win the division. I still think they can win the division. Well, I can't hedge and say can. I still think they will win the division. I think they and Tampa Bay will be tied at 4-6 after this week. Who knows? Saints might be 4-6 too. So we'll hear from Arthur Smith after a disappointing loss on the road in Carolina in the rain. Stick around for that and more. Another hour of the Cash In on SportsMap Radio. No, I'm all right. Good. Listen, it's Get fucked up. Is this post-game press conference? We proceed this final hour of the show. Yes, it is. It's actually been cold in Palm Springs the last few days. Highs only in like the mid-60s, getting down into the 40s at night. I forget that for like a couple of months every year, it actually gets pretty cold in Palm Springs. Snow on the mountaintops, but never here in the valley. It never snows in Palm Springs. Really? Oh, it's gross. It's gross. November? No, thank you. I'm good. Yeah, but you need a break. You need a break. See, we had this conversation about Houston, and I don't say this with any disrespect towards people in Houston that live there and make it their home. It's just, I visited there. Maybe I just got the worst sampling possible when I came. I think I came in 2018 to the SportsMap Radio studios, in fact. Hosted shows there for a few days. I was auditioning for a role there that, ironically enough, I didn't get. Thanks, Craig Larson. But I went there for a few days and did a few shows, and it was just hot and soupy. It was just gross. It was absolutely gross. And yeah. Yep. And I went to a Houston Dynamo game, had a pretty good time. At the time, I was friends with the president of the organization, a guy named Chris Canetti, who used to run that organization. Now I think he's working for Team USA Soccer or something like that. But I knew Chris a long time, so I came to town. I was like, hey, hook me up with some tickets. And he got me literally midfield second row for a Houston Dynamo game. And it was wild. They scored 2 goals in the final 2 minutes and in extra time. And the game finished in a tie. By the way, soccer, do better than ties. Seriously. You want me to get excited about your sport? Do better than ties. PKs for everything. Let's go. I'm ready for the World Cup, though. Trying to get fired up for the World Cup. The story of the night is obviously Thursday Night Football, which goes to Carolina 25-15. Wound up being a pretty entertaining finish to that game. But Carolina gets the win, improves to 3-7 on the year. The loss drops Atlanta to 4-6 on the season. Their head coach is Arthur Smith. Met with the media a short time ago. Take a listen to what he was saying.
Back, the chance to go win it, or tie it at the end. Our guys keep swinging. So there's a lot of things we got to do better, and it starts everywhere. It starts at the top with me, and there's a lot more goes into quarterback play than just stats. And we got to protect better. We got to do everything better. So you got to give Carolina credit. They came out, they got the lead, they won both lines of scrimmage. And it wasn't pretty. The drives we had going, we had some pretty ugly penalties, moved us back. We were off track a lot of the night. As ugly as it was, at the end of the day, Josh, we had the ball. We got the ball back with a chance to go win or tie. And it says a lot about our guys, but clearly it wasn't good enough.
Arthur, is that something that you might look at before the next game, a quarterback change?
Mike, I know those are the popular narratives right out there. Those are the easy questions to ask. As a whole football team, we got to do a better job. Start with myself. So we look every week to make sure that we got the right guys in the right spots. And like I said, we got to protect better. We got to play the run better. Chicago's going to come in here and try to run it 500 times, and so we got a lot of work ahead of us.
So just to be clear, do you anticipate Marcus to be a starter?
Guys, you can make it about the quarterback. How about the team? So we had an opportunity at the end of the fourth quarter of the last 2 weeks, and a lot of different ways and a lot of different phases, Mike. We got to get better, And we're thankful that we got an opportunity to come back and do that with 7 games left.
What were some of the issues with the run defense tonight?
Well, they kept back, and when you're running some of those zone schemes, D-Led, and they cut back and we're out of a gap, they had some decent runs there. And they kind of grinded it out. And like I said, it wasn't great by either team on third down, but they had more than we did.
Were you surprised by this overall performance? It just felt like you were never in sync on either side of the ball.
I mean, it's the NFL. I mean, you got to give them credit. They have a say too, and they came out and they put everything they had in it. And like I said, it was kind of ugly at first, but somehow, some way, our guys find a way to at least have a chance to go win it. And as always, there's a lot of things we got to correct, and we will.
The 4th and inches early on at the 10. Did you think hard about going for that at all?
Backed up?
Yeah.
For half? Hell no. In a game like that, it was a little possession. Early in that game, 4th and short, backed up. No.
CP only.
Oh, go ahead.
CP only got 5 carries tonight. Is there something?
We didn't have a lot of carries, Mike, and so a lot of it was he was all over the place in different spots too, Mike. So again, those are easy stats to look at. We'll look at everything, but we didn't come out. We didn't run the ball very well, but we chipped away. We had some decent runs in the third quarter, and obviously we're down 2 possessions. And you're in a hurry up, and we're able to move the ball pretty quickly down the field. Made some big throws, some big catches. Caught the touchdown pass to Hodge. Had a chance to get a pick. Didn't. Had a chance with the ball back, and we didn't. We went 4 and out.
You see,
You're listening to the head coach, Arthur Smith, of the Atlanta Falcons after 25-15 loss. Some more of what he had to say post-game.
pretty frustrated with officiating in the first half. Is that an accurate read of that?
No.
Did you think Marcus tried to force some balls down the field? I'm just thinking of the ones that were kind of looked like they were into coverage of.
Well, it's hard when you're scrambling to set your feet.
Yeah.
So, guy's a competitor. Like all our guys, they fight. It wasn't pretty, but they fight, and probably something here or there every play. But we'll look at it all, Josh, like we do every week.
It looked like there were a lot of low snaps tonight as well. Was that a factor of weather? Is that
Probably had something to do with it, but again, we didn't fumble any snaps.
Talk about the start held to 33 rushing yards the first half total. What adjustments did you see Carolina make from the last time y'all saw them to this time to come out and have that start defensively?
I don't really think as much. They ran the same calls. They just won some of the battles up front early, but they brought 5-man pressure a bunch last time we played them. Everybody does against us. Not many people are playing us straight up, so we're kind of used to it. But again, they got a good front, and they won some of the matchups early. We stuck with it. I don't have the numbers in front of us, but we kept chipping away, and we hit some runs. Algier hit some runs. Huntley hit one down there in the third quarter, and probably the reason we had a chance late.
Other decision is
So that's Arthur Smith meeting with the media after a 25-15 loss. And you heard the first couple of questions, and if you couldn't, I'll kind of give you a little bit of a clue as to what they were talking about. They were asking if he had given thought to pulling Marcus Mariota from this game and putting in Desmond Ridder. He is their rookie backup quarterback. He's a third-round pick out of Cincinnati, taken 74th overall. And look, I think if you make that move at this point of the season, you're kind of throwing up the white flag. And I don't think that's fair to a lot of guys on this roster. Marcus Mariota at times has struggled, but at times he's played really well. And I think pulling him after a game like tonight, and if you listened in that post-game press conference, that didn't sound to me like a head coach that was committed to Marcus Mariota for the next game. He didn't definitively say Marcus Mariota. He said, blame the team. He tried to kind of push the question off for another day. But that doesn't sound to me like somebody who's married to Marcus Mariota for the rest of the season. And I think the moment you go to Desmond Ridder, you basically throw your season out the window. No matter what you think of Desmond Ridder. And I mean, depending on the draft prospectus that you looked at, he was the third or fourth best quarterback in a bad quarterback class, by the way. I mean, this is a quarterback class with Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, Sam Howell. I mean, this was not a good quarter. This was one of the worst quarterback classes that I can remember in recent NFL history. And that's not hyperbolic for me to say that. It's a bad quarterback class. And we're going to go from that to a quarterback class next year where you've got 3 guys that could potentially be Pro Bowl quarterbacks. If you start looking at, what some people are predicting for those 3 guys. But Desmond Ritter's not the answer right now for this team. He's got to play better. And I think some of it is not targeting Kyle Pitts enough. And everybody keeps trying to figure out why. And it just doesn't seem to be an answer. He had 8 targets done. I think he had 2 catches for, 30 yards or 20 yards. This guy should be a focal point of this offense. He should be the guy that you're looking for in the passing game after you've tired out and worn down the offensive line for the opposing team with that running game, which tonight was just non-existent. Carolina stacked the box, said Marcus Mariota, beat us with your arm, and they just insisted on running the football. I mean, go look at the numbers from this game tonight, and they don't lie. Atlanta finished the night better in the running game with 138 yards, but they had 33 yards in the first half. Meanwhile, Carolina ran it for 232. Talk about winning the battle at the point of attack. And that's what Carolina did. They just pushed around and bullied this Atlanta team. It was a soft performance by the Falcons tonight in all aspects of the game. Just soft, marshmallowy soft. Kyle Pitts, by the way, 2 for 28 yards with 8 targets. Just not getting it done. Mariota for the night, 19 of 30 for 186, 2 TDs, and an interception. And if you're Carolina, I mean, look, P.J. Walker, 10 of 16 for 108. That's all you needed. QBR of 19.8. Good enough to win, though. Deonta Foreman, 130 yards rushing and a touchdown. Laviska Shenault with that touchdown run in the first half that sparked Carolina to an eventual 25-15 win over the Falcons. Again, Carolina to 3-7, the Falcons to 4-6. The telephone number, 1-800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. You want to tweet at the show, do it at the back page. We'll come back. Updated odds for the NFL division winners. We'll tell you what those are as we continue. We'll also hear from the Carolina Panthers post-game after their win over the Falcons 25-15 on the Cash In on SportsMap Radio.
And engulfed back inside the Atlanta 40-yard line. Spider-Man with the sack, and that might have sealed it for Carolina. Under pressure, trying to escape, running.
And Deontay was just running behind him. Even Chuba came in there and made some plays. And also Raheem. So those guys all got the opportunity to get the ball, and the O-line did a great job tonight.
BJ, what went through your mind when you saw Deontay go into the crowd?
I didn't know what happened, so I looked up and I saw him. So it was like, what was going on? But I was just waiting for him to get back down so I could show him some love.
The play to Laviska, can you describe that one?
They brought a nickel pressure, and for me it was just get the ball out of my hands, try to beat the blitz. And Laviska did the rest. I think DJ and Moo, Terrace Marshall did a great job on the edge blocking. They did a great job, and Laviska just took it down the sideline. It reminded me of New Orleans, to be honest, the same style run.
You had a nasty spin move. Was that a design run for you?
No, it wasn't a design. It was a read play, and my read key ended up sitting a little bit, and I was just trying to find a way to make them miss and just get vertical.
PJ, was there a heightened sense of urgency coming into this game, all things considered?
Yeah, we knew it was gonna be a dogfight out here, and I think this team got a lot of resiliency in them. We just was looking forward to the battle. Primetime game, defense came out there and played their ass off. And I think overall as a team, we went out there and played all three phases: offense, defense, and special teams. I think we came out, battled for each other, and played for each other tonight.
And I'm sure you understand the reality of it. If you guys lose this game,
Is that loud enough right there for you on the post game if I keep it at this level right here? Hold on, listen.
We got a lot of guys that with a lot of fight in that locker room, and it's tough to look at the record and just say this team is out of it, But when we go out there on Sundays, we play for each other, and that's all that matters.
The problem is
we wait on the outcome. If we
the other post game sound was from a different source. Yeah. Yeah. All right. "28 minutes past the hour. The cash-in rolls along on SportsMap Radio and the SportsMap Radio app. Still to come, we'll hear some Panthers post-game. Yeah. They won. I don't care if they only have 3 wins this season. You give a team credit. Give them respect. Let's talk about my friends at playfortickets.com. Have you gone and checked out this site yet? If you haven't, what are you waiting for? How about a chance to go to football's biggest game in February in Arizona? You know what I'm talking about. It's super. Trust me. It's playfortickets.com. It's a free-to-play contest that allows you to pick games on Sunday. And if you pick the correct side and totals on Sunday for 7 different games, guess what? You're going to football's biggest game in Arizona this February. The Super Pick 7 contest. It's free to play at playfortickets.com. It's going on every Sunday of the NFL season, including the playoffs. Gives you a chance to win, and it couldn't be easier. Again, all you got to do, pick the correct side and totals on Sunday for 7 games. That's simple. Use your football expertise each week to have a chance to win 2 tickets to the big game in Arizona. And how about this? It gets better. $50,000 cash in your pocket. 2 tickets to football's biggest game in Glendale, Arizona, and $50,000 cash in your pocket. Hotel, airfare, it's all included. It's the Super Pick 7 contest going on right now at playfortickets.com. Go there right now. Say it with me. Playfortickets.com. And as a special bonus for this weekend's game, a perfect score will earn the winner a round of golf with John Daly on November 14th. It's free to play at playfortickets.com. That's playfortickets.com here on the Cash In. SportsMap Radio and the SportsMap Radio app, 1-800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. If you feel so inclined. My dog is having a conniption behind me. Calm down, dog. Calm down. He's excited about the contest. Did you hear him back there? Oh, he's going nuts. He's going nuts. Yeah. Welcome to the world of hosting shows from home. Yeah. That'd be some cool golf attire. He wears it well, man. I've seen him hit balls in person. It's one of the wonders of sports that I've ever watched. Because you see this. I mean, look, let's be honest. He's not in the greatest shape. And he just kind of goes out there with this big gut, and he hits the ball a mile. Still, to this day. he still hits it a mile. What an honor to be in the presence of such great athletes. All right, division winner odds on FanDuel after we get done with Game 1 of Week 10 of the NFL season. You ready? AFC East right now, Buffalo is minus 300 to win the division. Miami is plus 350. If you're looking for some crazy value and you want to throw a flyer out there, how about the Jets are plus 1,200? I mean, that's kind of goofy. I think it would be throwing away money, but if you're like a huge Jets fan, throw a hundo on it. I mean, they have the same number of wins as the Bills. They just beat them. And they'd be plus 1,200 on a $100 bet, so you'd win $1,200. I mean, that's pretty good. AFC South, you got the AFC South right now. Tennessee is minus 330. The Jacksonville Jaguars are plus 450. Tennessee at 5-3, Indy at 3-5-1, Jacksonville at 3-6. So interestingly, Jacksonville, even though they have a worse record than the Colts, are plus 450. Indianapolis is plus 900. The Texans are plus 10,000. If you think there's a miracle in store, don't think it. Just skip on past that. It's fool's gold. AFC West, right now Kansas City minus 600, as you would expect. Leading the way in that division. The Chargers are plus 550. Denver is plus 3,600. And the Raiders, I don't know how the Raiders are even this good. They're plus 4,400. I'd put them at like plus 10,000 by now. Move over to the NFC with the Eagles right now. Philadelphia minus 390 to win the NFC East. Dallas is plus 440. The Giants are plus 1,300. And the Washington Commanders, the longest shot of them all, plus 31,000. So if you took $100 of John Belmer's money and put it on the Washington Commanders, you would win $31,000 if they somehow won the NFC East. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. I mean, you never know. Maybe everybody gets hurt in the NFC East. Be pretty wild. But anyway, that's what you got right now as far as the NFC East is concerned. NFC North, the Vikings, as you would expect. Minnesota right now is at minus 2,200, with the Packers at plus 2,000, the Lions at plus 5,000, and the Bears at plus 7,000. That's what you got in the NFC North. NFC South, this is interesting because you guys all know how I feel about Atlanta and the fact that they're going to win the division. So this would have to be my pick if I was going to like throw a flyer bet out there, you know, not stick with any of the favorites. Tampa Bay is the favorite to win the division. Everybody, you know, Tom Brady, I bow at your altar. Tampa Bay minus 270. Atlanta is plus 500 to win the division. So if I put $100 on them and they win the division, $500 for me. Yay! The Saints are plus 600, and the Panthers are plus 2,400. I got to be honest. Quite honestly, any of those picks is almost worth just taking a flyer on, because any of them are still capable of winning the division. They're all within a game of each other. So if you're going to have some fun, do it with the NFC South. The most competitive odds between two teams is in the NFC West. The 49ers are minus 135. The 49ers, you heard me right. Despite the fact that Seattle is 6-3 and San Francisco is 4-4, the favorite to win the NFC West right now is still the 49ers at minus 135. No respect being shown to the Seahawks, even though they're 6-3 and they've won 4 in a row. It's crazy. It's just, I think the odds makers are wrong. Even though I think San Francisco is a Super Bowl caliber defense, I don't know how you don't have Seattle as the favorite to win the division. Might be worth putting in a bet on Seattle at plus 150. The Rams, well, the Super Bowl hangover is real. They are at plus 1,100, and Arizona is at plus 4,400. So that's what you got for NFL divisional betting odds right now, midway through the season. We'll hear from Steve Wilks, the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, on the other side. His team improves to 3-7 on the year. They just one win behind the Buccaneers in the NFC South. It's crazy. We'll come back and talk about it some more. It's the Cash In on a Thursday night on SportsMap Radio. Yeah, they could. Well, I'll be done in 23 minutes.
Many categories. We couldn't get anything going offensively. Defense, we couldn't stop them to get off the field. We started slow and really couldn't stop the bleeding. And I put all that on me. Got to be more prepared and ready to play. We got to go out and execute. And most importantly right here, we got to find answers. And that's exactly what we're going to do.
Turn it up just one hair.
With that, I'll take your questions.
We can help you stand out in a competitive work environment with an online business.
Time in 12 days. Their last game.
Sorry.
In the
My apologies.
swings it out to LaVisca Chenault.
Just making sure you're on your toes.
Touchdown. Panthers up 10-0. Ensuing Falcons drive.
What are you doing?
Second play. We got to get something going. Marcus Mariota
Jesus.
avoids the pressure. Throws it up. And this is not what he intended. Picked off by J.C. Horn. Third interception in 11 career games for J.C. Horn. 2021.
Steve Wilks. All right. We continue with the show on this Thursday night. Win for the Carolina Panthers 25-15 in Thursday Night Football. P.J. Walker is the starting quarterback for this team. And Steve Wilks has referred to him as a game manager, even on that halftime interview they do where they say virtually nothing every time a reporter asks them a bunch of questions, and they make this farce of making it look like we're talking to the coach at halftime. Oh my God. And they never, they always give the same old coach speak. But he said something very interesting during that interview where he said PJ is managing the game well. I mean, he made it very clear. That's what they expect of PJ Walker. Just don't screw it up. I talk about this all the time. If you don't make turnovers in this league, no matter what your roster looks like, you're going to have a chance to win every week. I mean, there's a lot of great athletes on a lot of these football teams. If you simply don't turn the football over and give a short field to the other team, you're going to have a chance to win. And P.J. Walker tonight Didn't turn over the football once on a sloppy football field. Made enough plays. Post-game, talking about it right now on the cash-in.
Just sort of describe the offensive plan tonight.
We stuck with what we was going to do throughout the week. We had a good amount of pass plays in there as well, but I thought the O-line did a great job up front, and Deontay was just running behind him. Even Chuba came in there and made some.
Oh, we lost him. Sorry about that. Try and see if I can get that back up for you guys. My apologies.
And also Raheem. So those guys all got the opportunity to get the ball, and the O-line did a great job tonight.
PJ, what went through your mind when you saw Deontay go into the crowd?
I didn't know what happened, so I looked up and I saw him. So it was like, what's going on? But I was just waiting for him to get back down so I could show him some love.
The play to LaVisca, can you describe that one?
They brought a nickel pressure, and for me it was just get the ball out of my hands, try to beat the blitz. LaVisca did the rest. I think DJ and Moo, Terrace Marshall did a great job on the edge blocking. They did a great job, and LaVisca just took it down the sideline. It reminded me of New Orleans, to be honest, the same style run.
You had a nasty spin move. Was that a design run for you?
No, it wasn't a design. It was a read play, and my read key ended up sitting a little bit, and I was just trying to find a way to make them miss and just get vertical.
PJ, was there a heightened sense of urgency coming into this game, all things considered?
Yeah, we knew it was going to be a dogfight out here, and I think this team got a lot of resiliency in them. We just was looking forward to the battle. Primetime game, defense came out there and played their ass off, and I think overall as a team we went out there and played all three phases: offense, defense, and special teams. So I think we came out, battled for each other, and played for each other tonight.
Right, and I'm sure you understand the reality of it. If you guys lose this game, your playoff hopes are likely diminished. What does it say about y'all that you're able to get it?
We got a lot of guys that with a lot of fight in that locker room, and it's tough to look at the record and just say this team is out of it. But when we go out there on Sundays, we play for each other, and that's all that matters. And the outcome is we wait on the outcome. And if we go out there and play the way we played tonight, we got an opportunity to win games. If I go out there protect the football, give us an opportunity to go out there and make plays and put the ball in our receivers' hands and let them guys do what they do, I think we got a great chance.
And then how would you describe that? How would you describe the locker room?
It's full of joy right now. We got a lot of guys that's excited and looking forward to just resting up this weekend and getting a lot of guys back from injuries and things like that. So for us, it's just to go out there and continue to get better one day at a time, and we'll see where we go from there.
PJ, how would you describe just kind of the swing of emotions from Atlanta to last week to now? What's it like for you guys?
It's crazy because we took the loss we had last week, and if we dwell on last week, we don't go out here and play the way we played today as a team. And last week was last week, and we ain't about to let last week carry into this week. And I think it was good for us to have a short week this week. I think that short week helped us get over last week, and the opportunity it presented itself, and we took advantage of it.
It really is amazing when you think about the margin of error in this league, though. I mean, Carolina, and that was P.J. Walker, their starting quarterback. I mean, Carolina lost week 1 to the Browns 26-24. They lost week 2 to the Giants 19-16. Christian McCaffrey, I think, barely played neither of those games if he played at all. Week 3, they beat the Saints. Then they lose 26-16 to the Cardinals. They get dusted by the 49ers, beaten soundly by the Rams. Then they beat the Buccaneers, lose at Atlanta 37-34, get dusted by the Bengals, and then beat the Falcons 25-15. And, I mean, you're talking about 1, 2, 3 close losses. I mean, the margin of error in the NFL between being a decent team and, being a team that is kind of fighting for survival the way they are. Again, granted, they are still in the divisional races, as crazy as it is all worked out so far. The margin is just so small. And I think I've probably had this sort of I don't know, commentary or soliloquy, if you will. I've had this sort of conversation with the audience. At least once every year, you're struck by just how small the margins are when you look at the season and at the end of the year. I mean, again, we talk about it all the time. Look at the Raiders right now. I mean, which are, 2-6, arguably the laughing stock of the league, right? And then you go and look at the Raiders this year. I mean, they lost at the Chargers 24-19 in the final minute. 29-23 to the Cardinals. So that's 2. Add this up, Belmer, while I'm going. Okay, ready? Lost by 5, lost by 6. Week 3, lose at the Titans by 2. Week 4, beat the Broncos. Week 5, lose by 1 to the Chiefs. Still doing the math, right? Texans, they win 38-20. They get destroyed by the Saints, which is just a bizarre loss. And then the 27-20 loss to the Jaguars last week. I mean, if you look at 5 of their losses are by a combined what? 16 points, 17 points? 14 points. 6 of their, I mean, that's crazy. 5 of their 6 losses are by a combined 14 points. That's it. And careers, lives, coaching jobs, contracts, whether Derek Carr's the quarterback next year, whether Tom Brady's the quarterback there next year, whether Sean Payton's the head coach next year. They're decided by 1 or 2 plays every game for 5 out of their 6 losses. I mean, again, not to sound overly dramatic about it, but you play 17 games, all this time on the field, all these times in practice, and you're talking about 1 or 2 moments a game in 5 out of your 6 losses. That's it. That's the difference between watching the postseason, having a lost season by the midway point of the year where you're 2-6 and just sort of trying to, put the pieces together. It's, man, it's a mind fill in the blank. Fill in the blank with a word I can't say on the radio. Otherwise, the FCC not going to like me all that much. 1-800-224-2004, 800-224-2004, and again on Twitter at the back page. You can hit me up on Twitter at the back page. I don't have audio from Steve Wilkes, so we're gonna have to skip that. For some reason, nobody seems to have posted it anywhere. But it's crazy when you think about just how close the Raiders could have been to being really good. I said I had a Justin Verlander story. I talked about this last night on the show, or the night before. I don't know. John Belmer already made a promo of it with me talking about Justin Verlander and how he'll probably wind up with the Yankees, and then he'll become 40-year-old Justin Verlander and pitch terrible, because the Yankees always get guys a year too late or 2 years too late in some cases. But interesting story on Fansided today by Riley Smith, who said that Justin Verlander, looking ahead at free agency, talked a bit about being a free agent going into 2022 and how he had the option to go to different teams. Toronto was in the mix. He decided the offers were basically the same between Toronto and Houston, so he decided to go and play for the Astros. But it doesn't sound like he believes the Yankees are going to really be players. He said Houston was at the top of the list. Some other teams really started to show a lot of interest. I'd say that the leader was probably Toronto. Ultimately, when it came down to it, Houston had the same offer. It was all kind of ballpark between them and Toronto, and the Yankees was kind of always just a step behind. And that's not a good commentary on the Yankees. And for him to say that publicly tells me he's probably not thinking about going to pitch for New York next year. But I was talking about this with John Belmer, and I'll credit him because he brings it up. I mean, the Astros have so many young arms and so many good arms that if Justin Verlander decides to go somewhere else, they can go take that money that he's going to cost for one more year and spend it elsewhere. But the Yankees also have a lot of pitching too. And I don't think they're hurting in that area. I think where they're hurting is timely hitting. Guys that could get it done. Look, they got to find an answer at third base. Isn't it amazing this story started out about Justin Verlander and it turns into me talking about the Yankees' needs for 2023? Don't you like how that happens? Doesn't it? Always does. Josh Donaldson's got to go. I will pack his you-know-what for him. No, forget. It's not a matter of what's wrong with him. He's not good anymore. I don't. No, he really can't be. He can't catch up to a fastball. His plate discipline is non-existent. He's really not good. I watched him for 162 games. He's really not good. Once in a while, he runs into a pitch. I mean, that's it. And the Yankees kept trying all year to tell the fans, oh, you got me all revved up now. The Yankees kept trying to tell the fans all year, no, it's really just raining. We're not peeing on your leg. That's what the Yankees did to their fan base with Josh Donaldson. All year they kept saying, no, our metrics and our analytics tell us his swing is fine. He's not slow getting through the strike zone and all this stuff. When all you would do is watch the games every night and every piece of observational data that you had in front of you said they were absolutely lying to us. It's truth. That's what I got out of the Yankees when it came to Josh Donaldson. He's got to go, and Aaron Hicks has to go. Start bringing up some of these kids, these great blue chip prospects that they have in the minors. Done. No more Josh Donaldson. Give him away for a bag of donuts if you gotta. Ugh, he got me in a bad mood talking about Josh Donaldson. All right, I'm going to finish with a very upbeat note. It's a Tiger Woods story. Can I do that? Tiger Woods story? All right, we'll do that. We'll come back, wrap up this edition of The Cash In. I'm Jason Page. It's SportsMap Radio. Friggin' Josh Donaldson. He's such garbage. He really is. He's so bad. Every time he came up, you were just hoping he'd walk. That was the best you could hope for, is that he would walk. He's so bad. Ugh. You want to get me fired up, just say, if you want to, like, in the middle of a segment, just be like, hey, Jason, what? Josh Donaldson. And I'll just be like, ah! Oh, he's the worst. He's so bad. He wasn't even that good in that series. It's awful. I'm literally staring at a list of text messages, and all of them are like, sorry, can't do it. No, I can't do it tonight. Oh, so bad that I... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Oh, yeah, I know. It's all right. Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. Make it work. It's nights like that. That is great. That's funny. My favorite one is when it's people that I've known for a long time. Rest in peace, by the way, before I get to my Tiger Woods item, rest in peace, Fred Hickman. Somebody I grew up watching in the old days of CNNSI. He was a staple there, part of the broadcast sports team there, did a terrific job, and was on the Yes Network at its infancy. And today he passed away, and he was only in his 60s. Just awful to hear. Was most recently, I think, doing sports in New Orleans. But Fred Hickman, one of the real trailblazers of these national sports shows that you see today, one of the biggest professionals you'll ever see. So rest in peace, Fred Hickman. Tiger Woods, finish on an upbeat note, going to play in his tournament in the Bahamas. El Tigre is coming back. He's playing 3 events over the next 5 or 6 weeks. I am pumped. Tiger's going to try to make one last run, I think, at all the majors this year, and we'll see what he's got left. I mean, that leg obviously was problematic for him last year, and we'll have to wait and see how it holds up over the course of some of these difficult courses that he has to play and some of the terrain. If Tiger could ride around in a cart, I think he'd still be able to play. But the reality is that doesn't exist on the PGA Tour. I don't even think he'd want that exemption made. But rooting for Tiger to try and make one last run to win another major or two. It's going to wrap it up for us. Good job again by John Belmer. Thanks to all of you for listening. We're back on Friday with Paige's Picks and the Cash In on SportsMap Radio. Have a great night. Bye. All right. Nice job tonight. Thank you, sir. If you could send me the 3 hours, I'd appreciate it. And thank you. Yeah, that's all right. Yep. Sounds good. Have a great night. Thank you for your help. All right. Bye. Dookie, all the noise tonight. Oy vey. Come here. Come here. Papa Dukes. Come here. Who's a good boy? Wanna say hi to everybody in TV land? Hi. Hi. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? This is the dog making all the noise during the show. For those of you. Oh, and he just left me. He's like, I'm done with you. Stop showing me off. I'm not a show pony. That's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you to everybody for tuning in on the video and audio side. We'll be back on Friday. Paige's Picks. All sorts of fun and frivolity. Yeah. Have a great night. Thanks for tuning into the Cash In. Bye.